Hey friends, it's Aki Dearest. So welcome to a series that I run on my channel called the Otaku Monthly Favorites, where at the end of every month I introduce you guys to certain manga, certain anime films, anime, and other otaku related anime content that I have been introduced to within that given month. But before I get into everything I was introduced to in May, we got the silver play button. Can you imagine if this were the gold one? I probably would have actually had a heart attack. I probably wouldn't be even making this video right now. So there we have it. 100,000 tentacle loving people that have subscribed to the channel. You're about 350,000 subscribers late, but it's okay. I forgive you, YouTube. It says Aki Dearest right there. And yeah, it's beautiful and it's hung up on my wall right over there. It was really funny though because I got this in the mail. Well, no, I got this in a box. The guy knocked on my door, left, and then I honestly thought it was a box filled with manga because I ordered quite a bit, and so that's what I thought it was. I took the box, still packaged, and I just threw it onto the table, and I didn't even touch it for 2 hours, and then I just violently opened it up thinking it was just going to be the manga. But then I saw it was the silver play button, and I was like, well, so I want to thank every single tentacle-loving person out there. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, so the first thing we're gonna get started is an anime movie that I finally got to watch called Colorful.
おめでとうございます。抽選に当たりました。あなたは大きな過ちを犯して死んだ罪な魂です。もう一度下界に戻って再挑戦するチャンスを与えられました。まさにラッキーソウル。あれが下界への扉です。あなたは小林誠という少年になるのです。いいから考えるよりまずは行動です。さあ。
So as you guys can see from that little preview I just showed, the story takes place that our main character that goes unnamed has created some kind of sin in their past life. And according to the angel that is depicted in this film, he has gotten the chance to try and redeem himself to remember the sin that he or she has committed. And in order to remember what that sin was, the main character must possess into the body of a boy who has already killed himself. The movie progresses that the main character goes through the kinds of distress and trying to figure out what could have led up to this boy's suicide. There is a quote said here in the synopsis that I saw that actually is pretty much the message of the entire movie. I have started to realize that people are hurting each other because the world is too colorful to distinguish the true color of themselves from others. I'm not going to go into too much depth with this because the movie will explain it for itself at the very end, but this quote says a lot about how we often judge others and thinking we have this entire persona of exactly what they are, when really life is a little bit more complicated than that. We can't just sort everybody by just these generalized personalities. In all seriousness though, this was a very beautiful movie, and I think that obviously it's very edgy because it's talking about suicide. Not only a person trying to contemplate suicide, but just the effects and the transition of someone who seems like they have such a happy life going into a state of depression, now putting all of this frustration and anger towards everyone who tries to support and love them, eventually leading to thoughts of suicide and wanting to kill yourself, and eventually pretty much blaming no one else but yourself in the end. But again, obviously it is about suicide, it is very touchy, so I don't recommend it if you are really sensitive to that stuff, but if you can find the time, if you can have the open-mindedness to try and find the time to watch this movie in a different perspective, then I think that you guys will actually really enjoy it. And I rated an 8 on my anime list. The next thing I want to introduce you guys to, and a lot of people have been hyping this up, so most of you probably have already been watching this, but it's called Boku no Hero Academia.
頂上は日常に、夢は現実に。
彼は現実が見えてないのです。
僕もなれるかな。ごめんね、イサク。小さい頃からの目標なんだ。誰か
私が来た。
個性がなくても僕はヒーローになれますか？
Our story is of a protagonist, a very young child, who lives in a world of people who have quirks, aka superpowers. Now imagine if you're from a world and a family where everyone is expected to have a superpower of some sort, and for some reason yet you are the unlucky person, and someone very passionate about having superpowers turns out not to have superpowers. So the anime is progressing from someone that was so hopeful and someone so ambitious to then becoming someone who feels so powerless to now going through the mental and physical struggles to now becoming someone that is inspirational. One thing I want to keep in mind is that the message that Boku no Hero is trying to give off is it doesn't matter whether or not you have the skills to do something. That can possibly just come over time if you really want something. What really matters is ambition, hope, the willingness to try and fight for something you really want. But if you guys are looking for a good 2016 anime to try and keep up with or to get started off of, Boku no Hero Academia is definitely way high up there, I can tell you that. This is the next thing I want to introduce you guys to, and it's a manga called The God's Lie, and this is an absolutely beautiful piece of work right here. Now, it's only a single story, it's not a whole series, so if you guys are looking for something quick that you can read, definitely give this one a shot. But we have our main character Natsuru, who develops a friendship / relationship with our other character Rio. We find out that Rio, who is still a middle school student, is actually taking care of herself and her little brother, who is running here on the back. The story doesn't even really develop the friendship and relationship as much as it is trying to put you in the perspective of trying to figure out the background story of this girl. As the story progresses, there is some fucked up shit that you find out about her past. I really hope that they make a movie about this sometime soon. I can see maybe Makoto Shinkai doing this because he's known for romantic stories, or maybe just Kyoto Animation in general. I haven't really been impressed with all of their stuff, but I can see them trying to make this into a film, but give this a shot. It's definitely worth your time. It's a really quick read. So again, The God's Lie. There you go. It's totally cool. The last thing I want to introduce you guys to is another manga that I read, which is probably very selective to some of you, and it's called A Girl on the Shore. The first thing that caught my eye with this book was the illustration, and when I first got it, it was actually wrapped in plastic on the shelf, and everything else was open. This is a very disturbing manga, I'll tell you that. It's supposed to be a love story, but it's going through the very, very painful and harsh things that come with some relationships to some people. I can see why they wrap this in plastic, because there is some pornographic scenes, actually quite a bit of pornographic scenes in here, and specifically between two children. And between children, we're talking about like middle school age. Now, if you cannot stomach that, I totally understand. It's totally cool, but you know, some of you guys know I like my train wrecks. I like looking at pretty disturbing and fucked up shit, but this isn't actually fucked up in the sense of, oh, it's two kids having sex. It's more like the relationship between two kids of having sex because they think that that is what depicts love. They think that that is exactly what depicts a good relationship. If it's a relationship at all. Not even these kids themselves can say that they are boyfriend and girlfriend because they feel like that there's something else missing. Sex is just this thing that they do that feels good because of hormones, but then they realize that if you don't love somebody, then the act becomes hollow. This is about like 400 pages, I believe. Now, as much as I would like for there to be a movie about this, I completely get it that there wouldn't be a movie about this because of how pretty graphic that this story gets. And the story isn't really even about trying to develop a good relationship. It's more like painting the picture of what a really messed up and unhealthy relationship would look like. But it's called A Girl on the Shore, and it's made by Inio Asano, and I definitely want to check more of his works. I looked on my anime list, and there's actually quite a few manga on there that I would like to check out. So that was my Otaku Monthly Favorites episode for the month of May. But let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have either read any of these manga or seen any of these anime films. If you guys have any other suggestions, I could really use them because I need to get everything ready for AX because I'm going to be uploading videos while I'm gone. So please help me out, help a brother out. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more anime and otaku related content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!